Sentinel Sports Central will be going over a college football game preview and prediction on a big matchup coming up in Week 14 of this 2020 college football season. And that's going to be between the Wisconsin Badgers and the Indiana Hoosiers, two teams of which have had good seasons so far, especially Indiana having one of the best seasons that they've had in over 50 years, which Indiana's back ranked at the top 10, so this is a good season so far for them. Meanwhile, for Wisconsin, they're 2-1 right now, coming off of a loss to Northwestern a couple of weeks ago, so they're trying to bounce back from that. Even though Wisconsin's ineligible for the Big Ten Championship, they're still eligible for a good bowl game. For Indiana on their side, they're trying to still remain eligible because, if you think about it, if Ohio State has to cancel their game this weekend against Michigan State, that puts Indiana in a great position to make it to the Big Ten Championship. So there is still a chance that we see the Hoosiers in a Big Ten Championship this season. It just matters as to whether or not Ohio State plays their game this weekend. So this is a crucial game for the Hoosiers moving forward. There's no doubt about that one either. We'll be going over a full game preview and prediction on this one here today, starting out with your team trends. And of course, Indiana beat Maryland. 27-11 was the final score there. They beat them last week. And then for Wisconsin, they lost to Northwestern, 7-17 being your final score there. So Wisconsin, that was a couple of weeks ago there. Wisconsin was scheduled to play Minnesota last week, but that game got canceled. So we did not see that matchup, of course, which is always a good rivalry game between Wisconsin and Minnesota. So it was kind of a bummer we didn't get to see that. But for winning streaks, both these teams, Indiana's currently ranked 10th in the nation according to the AP poll. They're 5-1 with a one-game winning streak, and then Wisconsin is number 18. Once again, as of the AP poll, they're 2-1, and they've got a one-game losing streak. So, of course, Indiana lost to Ohio State a couple of weeks ago. That's where that one loss came from, but still, Indiana's a great team right now. Michael Penix has had quite a season for Indiana, and he's led this team to a really good season. This game's to be on Saturday, December 5th, 3:30 p.m. Eastern in Madison, so the Badgers will be the home team here. Spread currently goes for Wisconsin by 10, so it's heavily leaning towards Wisconsin right now. ESPN FPI's got Wisconsin 84%, and the Vegas prediction is also going with the Badgers 39-27, being the current projected final score. So Wisconsin, even though they had a bad loss to Northwestern a couple of weeks ago, is still favored in this matchup by quite a bit, which obviously we've only seen 3 games out of Wisconsin and we've seen 6 games out of Indiana, but I think both teams here are pretty equally matched. Especially in skill. You got Indiana on one side, who's got a great quarterback in Penix, which he's had quite a season for Indiana, having over 1,600 yards right now through 6 games, 16 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. Meanwhile, you got Mertz on the Wisconsin side through 3 games. He's had 600 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. So, considering Jack Cohn was expected to be a really good quarterback this season, I think Graham Mertz has had a pretty good season considering he's filling in for a pretty good starting quarterback. But for Wisconsin, this is a team that's still, Wisconsin's got a lot of talent. Even though they're 2-1 with a bad loss to Northwestern on the resume, this is still a team that I think has got a lot of talent. We saw them dominate Illinois. They blew out Michigan as well, which both teams are not very good, but still, both teams Wisconsin put nearly 50 points up on. So Wisconsin is still a very talented team, and they are not a team to sleep on here if you're Indiana. Here's your stat comparison for this one. Indiana's got 32 points per game, 21 points allowed. They got 279 pass yards a game, 102 rush yards. And then for yards allowed, they got 230 passing and 135 rushing. As for Wisconsin, they got 33 points per game, 11 points allowed. They got 201 pass yards a game, 219 rush yards. And then for yards allowed, they got 166 passing and 67 rushing. So this defense for Wisconsin has been extremely good through the past 3 games. And obviously, they really haven't played many tough opponents. They've played Indiana, or they've played Illinois, and they've played Michigan, of course, and they also had that tough game to Northwestern. But still, this defense has been pretty good for Wisconsin up to this point. They've only allowed 17, 11, and 7 points through the past 3 games, which adds up to an average of 11 points allowed per game. So Wisconsin has been very good on defense. But for Indiana, 279 average pass yards a game is a pretty impressive stat, especially for Indiana right now. So, Indiana's a team that's got a lot of potential, I think, moving forward, especially with Michael Penix, who's been a really good quarterback all season long. Here's some key points for this one. Indiana's gaining back momentum, of course, after having their tough loss to Ohio State a couple of weeks ago, which is great for them. Wisconsin, though, still has a good chance to make it to a good bowl game. Even though Wisconsin is now completely ineligible for the Big Ten Championship, considering they missed 3 games, Wisconsin still can make it to a good bowl game. So that's still on the table for the Badgers right now. But both teams, I would say, are equally skilled. I think both teams are definitely good in some of the same areas, at least. Both teams are definitely very talented on offense, and both defenses have been pretty good this season, too. So I mean, this is going to be a fun matchup for both these teams moving forward. It's going to be a tough one to predict for me, though. I mean, considering both teams here are both really good on both sides. I mean, if you look at how Indiana's been playing all season long, they've had a couple of the really good wins on the resume. Wisconsin, same thing for them, even though we haven't seen Wisconsin as much. So both teams here should make for a pretty good battle. Impacts of this game, though, for Indiana, once again, I mean, this is still an Indiana team that could make it to the college football playoff. I mean, if you think about Ohio State, if they miss one more game, that means that they're out of the picture for the Big Ten Championship, which opens the door completely for Indiana, especially if they can win this game. And if Indiana wins the Big Ten Championship over a Northwestern team, which now has got one loss, I mean, that could possibly put up some potential for Indiana to be a top 6 team once we get towards the end of the season. So for Indiana, I mean, the door is still open for them to possibly make a run at the playoff, which, I mean, I think the chances of them making it, considering they're a one-loss team, are pretty low at this point. But still, I mean, Indiana's got potential to make it there, which I think in the end, we're going to see Indiana get the win in this matchup. I think Wisconsin's going to keep it very close. We're actually going to see a lower scoring game here, which may be a bit of a surprise, but Indiana, they're going to get the win, 23-21, and Indiana's going to score a whole lot of field goals in this one. I just think Hoosiers right now are all around the better team. They've got more experience on the season. I mean, as you can see, Indiana's got double the games of experience as Wisconsin does, as Indiana's got 6 games of experience, and the Badgers have got 3. But Indiana all around just looks like the better team right now. They're a top 10 team in the nation. They're coming off of a big win against Maryland. I mean, they also kept it close against Ohio State. Keep that in mind too, which, I mean, Ohio State and Justin Fields, that is an excellent team. And so for Indiana to keep it close within a touchdown, Indiana is a very talented team this season, and this is a team that's for real. I think Indiana gets the win here 23-21, and it's going to be close. Wisconsin's going to make a push, especially at the end of this matchup, but Indiana's going to get the win 23-21 once again in the end. Probably it's going to be 60% towards the Hoosiers. I just think Indiana all around is just a better team in this situation. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below on this one. Let me know your score predictions, all of that down in the comments. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. But then again, thanks again for watching. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. If you enjoyed this preview, slap a like on it, subscribe as well if you're not already yet, as it really helps out the channel, and I'd really appreciate that. But as always, thanks again for watching. Stay tuned for more. I will see you all later.